Welcome back to Beyond the Curve. I have some great and exciting videos for you today. Please hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And let's dive right in.
The reason we have been lied to about our history, the reason we have been lied to about everything is because everything goes back to the Bible. Everything goes back to God. The fallen angels that came down and ruled this world had technology, and they built things that we still can't. But they can't tell the world that, because then that would mean that angels and demons are real. And if angels and demons are real, then that means that Satan and God is real. And likewise, this is why we are being lied to about this narrative, because the enemy can't have the world know that this is a spiritual battle. The enemy can't have the world know that these aren't beings from another planet, but they are, in fact, demonic entities from another dimension, because then that would mean that the spiritual realm is real. That would mean that Satan is real. And ultimately, again, that would mean that God is real. And why am I talking about this? Because we are headed into a time of great deception like never before in history, because there are people watching this right now who don't know Jesus Christ as their Lord and as their Savior, and because of that they will be left behind to face this deception. They will be left behind to face the tribulation. In the book of Luke, he actually tells us that during the tribulation, there will be entities that will descend from the heavenly realms that will cause men's hearts to fail them from fear. And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations with perplexity, in the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them from fear and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Now, here's the fun part. When we look at the Greek origin of the word for, it means because, it means why. So Luke is telling us why men's hearts are failing them. He's saying, because the powers of the heavens will be shaken. When we look at the Greek origin of the word shaken, it means to agitate, to topple over, to cast down. So Luke is telling us that men's hearts are going to stop because they are so scared. People are going to be looking at these entities that are coming from another dimension, and they are going to drop dead. Now, we know these are not beings from another planet. They are demonic entities from another dimension, because this is a spiritual battle. Luke says, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness. Here it is, in the heavenly places. The powers of the heavens are going to be shaken. These entities are going to be cast down to earth, and men's hearts are going to fail them because they are so scared. And Luke,
We did that clip first so that everybody's on the same page. There's nothing up except for heaven. There is no outer space. So that's why we started with that.
What if we rewrite the stars it's up to me. No one can say what we get to be. So why don't we rewrite the stars? Or maybe the world could be.
Space is nothing other than water.
Here we have a bowl of water, the sun and some black glass. This is the same effect you see when looking at the stars through a telescope or zoom camera. The stars are set in the firmament, and the waters above are behind them. Now look at some clips of stars and tell me they don't look the same as this.
Doesn't look like you can land on that. Looks like light through water to me. Light and sound. Truth is always there. You just have to want to see it.
If you think you know what the stars really are, then you're about to be in for a big surprise. The stars are not what you think and not what you have been told, and I am going to prove it. Now, I want to show you guys how the Egyptians depicted the stars. They depicted the stars on the firmament. Now, the firmament has been mentioned many times in the Bible, and I want you to take note of this. And God made the firmament and divided the waters, which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. So once again, when we look at the Egyptian depiction, they're talking about the firmament and the stars on the firmament. Here's the Hebrew. As you can see, water's above the firmament and here are the stars. All of our ancestors knew the real truth about this realm. Now watch this. Now, this is what a real close-up of the stars looks like under the most powerful zoom camera in the world, Nikon P900. This is what the stars really look like right here. Now, there is a big difference of what NASA is telling you. The stars are versus what they really are. Now, once again, this is a close of the stars. Remember when I said waters above the firmament? What does this look like to you guys? These are frequencies of light within the waters above. This is what cymatics or resonant frequencies look like when pitched into water. It is the exact same thing. Now, NASA is purposely hiding God's true creation because they do not want you to know how powerful you are. They want you to be asleep, and they want you to be a slave, and the real truth is found within peace. This is for entertainment purposes.
1962, 7 years before they faked the moon landing, Operation Dominic began. A series of 31 missiles were shot straight up into the sky to test how high humans can actually reach. They quickly figured out not far at all.
It seems that whenever they were shooting these missiles up into the sky, they were actually interacting with different layers of this plasma field or this electromagnetic phenomena, and it seems to have fluid-like properties. As it actually hits a certain portion of this force field, if you will, it begins to disperse and seek equilibrium based on the impedance of the electromagnetic
God's
layers.
dome.
Why is it when we review this footage that these things are exploding? It looks like they're hitting a barrier.
Testing the strength of the firmament, and they weren't able to penetrate it.
What's going on there? What is this? In my opinion, I think that they were trying to find a way to possibly get out. There's a firmament above us.
So everything is as above, so below. Obviously, many people are becoming aware that there's a firmament above that many people are now starting to realize is impenetrable.
No matter what you do, you can't go straight up in the air and keep going.
I hope these videos are helping some people wake up. It's all a deception to hide God from you. All the different lies, different conspiracies you can think of, they're all like intertwined, from carbon dating to millions of years to dinosaurs to outer space, aliens. All these things are to hide God is real. Remember that.
In whom do you place your trust? And do you believe in the Word of God radically enough to believe the biblical depiction of Earth? It's not just the biblical depiction, it's all depictions throughout history. The only one that's different is NASA. The Holy Bible, in which we place all of our foundation of belief and trust in, also gave us an example of what God's creation looked like. Having radical faith would mean that you believe God did in fact inspire these men to write these scriptures, and that God did in fact tell these prophets the truth as they wrote down all of the prophecy that we hold on to today. That includes the way that God described his creation to his prophets. Is your faith alone strong enough to agree with God and his creation that is depicted in the Bible? Or do you need some type of evidence to verify that there is a firmament above our heads? We can take a look at a couple of translations that were dedicated to preserving the original Greek and Hebrew. Complete Jewish Bible is one of them. And the Lexham English Bible was dedicated to being transparent and getting it as close as possible from the original text. A lot of people will try to say the word firmament in the Bible means sky, but as you see in the Hebrew depiction of the earth, there's the sky and there's the firmament. And in the Complete Jewish Bible, it uses dome and sky in the same sentence right here. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The dome of the sky speaks the work of his hands." In Genesis, in the Lexham Bible, it also talks about the vaulted dome. It says, "Let there be a vaulted dome in the midst of the waters, and let it cause a separation between the waters." So God made the vaulted dome and caused the separation between the waters, which were under the vaulted dome, and between the waters, which were above the vaulted dome. Satan is a liar and a perverter. He cannot create his own creation, so what he has done is he has deceived the world into believing in his creation instead of God's creation. Not only does every globe picture we get look different from the last, but also Satan has put his number all throughout the math. Apparently, the Earth travels 66,600 miles an hour around the sun. Also, it's curved at 0.666 feet per mile squared. That's the spherical geometry. That's the spherical geometry. The Earth is tilted at 23.4 degrees, leaving 66.6 degrees in a 90-degree angle. This was all of NASA's official measurements, and they've actually changed it since people like me have been catching on to it and spreading it like wildfire. It's now a 66.5 degree difference, and the Earth now travels 66,700 miles an hour around the sun. Why are they changing it? I'll tell you why. It's because Satan was so proud of his creation that he had to put his signature all over it. And now that we're finding it out, he has to remove it. This is a fountain in Sydney, Australia. And around this edge, it'll say Antarctic Circle. Remember that word? We haven't heard it in a long time. Antarctica is the ice wall where he's prescribed those boundaries for the water to not transgress. If you try to research this on Google or YouTube, it is all pieces that are just making fun of it. You can hardly find any authentic flat earth research on any major platforms anymore. We believe that Admiral Byrd actually found the dome during Operation Deep Freeze, as he named a lot of the regions Dome. And we know it was Admiral Byrd that named these regions because he named one after his wife, right over here, Marie Byrd Land. And Admiral Byrd passed away right after Operation Deep Freeze, and Operation Fishbowl ensued. And this is an operation where they sent rockets straight up. So think about it. Admiral Byrd travels into Antarctica, names all these regions Dome, and then he doesn't wake up, and this whole situation takes place. You see how that rocket's hitting, looks like it's hitting a flat surface? Looks an awful lot like a bullet hitting a wall. Look at this. Looks a lot like what we just saw. So this man travels into Antarctica, makes a discovery, and the next order of business was sending rockets straight up in an operation called Fishbowl Dominic. Fishbowl of the Lord. Dominic means of the Lord. And you see this blue stuff when the rocket does hit the firmament, and you see this blue stuff kind of, you know, rockets are scraping across the top when they do rocket launches, and it sends that same blue cloudy stuff. This is what it looks like when a rocket gets to about 100 kilometers up, or 62 miles, or where they say the atmosphere ends and space begins. Doesn't it remind you a little bit of bullets hitting ballistics gel? And this is the stuff that they're said to be testing in Antarctica. Sky ice. It's made out of pure oxygen, and it's blue like our sky, and it's being studied in Antarctica, and it comes from the largest natural structure in the world called the Wall. Guys, and Werner von Braun, he came over from Operation Paperclip, right? And he teams up with Walt Disney, the top animation guy. This guy's the top rocket guy. He was a part of the Operation Fishbowl of the Lord. And when he passed away, he put Psalms 19:1 on his tombstone as if he had something to say to the world. Kind of like a deathbed confession. But he put this verse on there. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the dome of the sky speaks the work of his hands. Could the king of rockets been talking about this dome of the sky? And all these world leaders have the flat map as their logo. World Health Organization, the United Nations, the World Meteorological Organization, the International Maritime Organization, and the other countries' equivalents. I don't know what that is. And when Jesus comes riding on the clouds for the whole world to see, how are they going to see it here? What about Australia? My buddy Joseph Sherwood pointed me to this, which got me thinking, hey, I wonder if there's translations that are closer to Greek and Hebrew that we can find some better answers, because there's this big argument about the firmament and what that means. And hopefully this clears it up, but I'm telling you guys, the God of this world, Satan, who controls the narrative, he has been covering up God's creation. Not just that, but perverting it. I'm telling you, he's trying to create his own little creation. There's clues everywhere. Do you radically and authentically say it?
Outer space is a fucking lie. The stars, the planets, the whole cosmic fantasy, it's all part of the projection. And I've got the receipt, y'all. After reading the dome and Earth's projection, everything clicked. We're not floating on a rocket into space, guys. We're inside a closed system, a literal dome. And what we call space is just a projection layer. The fake sky rendered in light, frequency, and code. Now, guys, they programmed us to believe in rockets, planets, galaxies, when in reality, it's a cosmic illusion. NASA, Hollywood, satellites, reflections. Every time we look up, we're staring at a giant celestial. Guess what? They control what's on it. Now, you've been staring at the ceiling of your prison, thinking it's paradise. Wake the fuck up, guys. The truth isn't out there. It's been hidden right above you. Like, follow, and comment if you're done with the lies and ready to decode the dome.
What did you see in space? Buddy, brother, friend, comrade. The world is not quite what movies have made it seem. People think you launch a rocket up into the atmosphere and just fly out into the abyss of infinite space. But this couldn't be farther from the reality. Once we go beyond a certain altitude and kind of reach the cusp of our atmosphere, we reach the same barrier time and time again. An impenetrably dense, translucent layer of concrete solid water, of which behind it appears to be a mysteriously dark body of infinite waters that we misinterpret as outer space. It would be through this abyss of water that we could assume the potential to travel to other existing worlds. But without a way through this firmament, we are restricted to fairly limited speculation. It appears as though whatever kind of a god or what have you that created this place did not intend for us to get through that barrier. In the meantime, however, CGI has made for a hell of an illusion of what lies beyond.
No.
That's amazing. I love that shot. We're inside a cooling tower at the Satsop nuclear power facility, which never went online. This is where the steam that's produced by the facility would be released and cool as it goes up. Because of the shape of the surfaces and because they're hard and reflective, we get an echo, a very severe echo. We're still trying to understand it ourselves. This is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. Everybody calm down. This is not fun. When you make a sound and a surface is far enough away that it returns that sound to you such that you hear it as a distinct occurrence. You hear it as a separate event. It's amazing.
At 1, but basketball at 4. Yo! Yo! That sounds insane. Echo! What the Right, balloons. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. That sounds
So thunder's nothing more than the sound lightning makes off of the dome.
And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so.
look at their rockets. This is how they claim they get into outer space, is these rockets. Their rockets never go straight up. Every single rocket launch from a government space agency, you'll notice, follows a parabolic curve. It goes up, it reaches a peak, but what they do is as the rocket starts coming back down, they make sure that it goes down over the ocean, out of the way of any curious observers. Anyone can see it coming back down to Earth, asks, hey, how come the rocket's not going up anymore? Well, it's going around the curvature of the Earth, is what they tell us. So every single rocket, the reason that it follows a parabolic curve, they say, is because it's going around the curvature of the Earth. The real reason is they can't get up any higher than that. They tell us that the Earth is a sphere. They show us pictures of a sphere, of a circle. It's a perfect circle. And then they come out and they say, well, it's actually an oblate spheroid. Oh, what's that? Well, it's a sphere that's flattened at both poles, so it's more of an oval shape. It actually bulges out south of the equator, as well as being flattened at the poles. So it's more pear-shaped.
So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid.
Yeah, right.
But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above. A little chubbier. A little chubbier. Yeah. Chubby's a good word. It's like pear-shaped.
So now it's pear.
These people think they're smarter than us. They're laughing right in our faces. Wake up, people. That guy's an idiot, that Neil deGrasse Tyson. I can't stand him.
Pear-shaped. So why are all of these official NASA photos and videos showing perfect spheres when it's actually an oblate spheroid or a pear-shaped spheroid? They can't get their story straight. The reason they keep changing it is that to fit the model, they have to change the shape of the Earth. South of the equator is larger than north of the equator because lines of longitude that just extend outwards, they don't contract back. So they concede that in their pair model. They say, well, the side bulges out south of the equator. It's bigger south of the equator. Yeah, it is, because it's flat. But instead of admitting that, they just make tweaks to their model as time goes on. They say that the ball Earth tilts back 23.5 degrees. That's another tweak they made because we can see Polaris, which is right over the North Pole, from 23.5 degrees south latitude. Shouldn't be able to see that on a ball. So they just tilt the Earth back and then okay, now you can see it. And so they come up with explanations in reverse like this. Damage control, reverse engineered explanations.
I go to Lubbock, and I'm doing this conference out there at Jared Cressman's father's church, Pastor Dan Cressman, and we get to talking about this whole issue of flat Earth stuff. And he goes, "Do you know what the name Dominic means?" I said, "No." He says, "You talk about Operation Fishbowl, but check this out. Look up the name Dominic, Dominic, from the late Latin name Dominicus, meaning of the Lord. Fishbowl was part of Operation Dominic. It looks like they are sending high-altitude nuclear bombs to test the fishbowl of the Lord."
Research flag.
Trying to show us.
More truth in plain sight.
I think we went too high.
As above, so below.
Cimmerian engraving, a renowned artwork, captivatingly depicts the sky as a machine. Created by an unknown artist, it gained fame through its inclusion in Camille Flammarion's book, Atmosphère Meteorologie Populaire in 1888. However, the notion of the sky as a machine finds additional support in ancient texts, such as the Book of Enoch. In the Book of Enoch, an apocryphal text attributed to the biblical figure Enoch, there are intriguing descriptions of celestial mechanisms and the inner workings of the cosmos. It speaks of celestial spheres, heavenly gates, and complex systems governing the movement of astronomical bodies. These passages suggest a celestial machinery beyond our earthly understanding. The Flammarion engraving, with its portrayal of an individual piercing through the celestial sphere, aligns with the idea of unveiling the hidden mechanisms described in the ancient texts. It echoes the concept that the sky is not merely a passive barrier, but a dynamic realm governed by intricate mechanisms. This depiction of the sky as a machine resonates deeply with the scientific outlook prevalent during the time of Flammarion's book. It reflects the growing understanding that the natural world operates according to discoverable laws, and that the cosmos can be deciphered through observation and empirical study. Furthermore, the incorporation of the Book of Enoch into this narrative adds another layer of meaning. It suggests that the artist behind the Flammarion engraving may have been influenced by ancient wisdom and esoteric knowledge. By merging scientific curiosity with mystical and ancient teachings, the artwork becomes a potent symbol of the convergence between different realms of understanding. Thus, the Flammarion engraving offers a unique fusion of scientific exploration, mystical yearning, and ancient wisdom. It invites contemplation about the interplay of natural laws, the mysteries of the celestial realms, and the potential for human discovery beyond the boundaries of our known world. By intertwining the ideas from the Book of Enoch, it lends greater depth to the portrayal of the sky as a fascinating and intricate celestial machine.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's videos. I hope it made you see that nothing or no one can or has ever been to outer space. Nothing's ever been there except for people's imaginations. You can't go. There's a firmament above us put there by God. As above, so below. Separate the waters from above from the waters below. And stars are nothing more than light and sound through water cymatics. They're fixed to the firmament. Planets are wandering stars. That's why their patterns are different. And as they go around the Earth, they form specific geometric shapes and stuff like that. We live on a flat Earth. There's most likely more land beyond the ice wall. And I hope you enjoyed it. So please hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe, and catch you in the next one. Thank you.